Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Going In Deep, the official podcast, broadcast, videocast, whatever we are now, of the Uranus Awards. My name's Zach, and join with me is my co-host Mike, and today we're going to be talking about Pacific Rim. But before we get into that, we're sure that you probably noticed some things look different here. We have headsets as if we're recording for Twitch. We're not.
Sweet streamers.
Um, Maybe someday. But right now, and a big reason why we haven't had an episode in a little bit is we're just trying to figure some stuff out behind the scenes. So you're going to see Going In Deep going through a couple different evolutions through this year, and hopefully relatively soon we get back to a place where we're comfortable.
Gonna change microphones, change cameras, change You said formats, alright, but you'll see us on YouTube more. Maybe we'll do some live streams soon.
We are back. Videos will be coming weekly yet again. We're still doing movies. We're still doing TV. But the looks of some things might change, and you know, Max is very much still part of the Uranus Awards. He's still part of Going In Deep, but you might be seeing a little more of just me and Mike on these episodes.
But we still love him, and we want him on the show.
Of course, shirtless, preferably.
Alright, so shall we get down to brass tacks?
But before we get down to brass tacks, Mike, what was the story of Pacific Rim Uprising?
Pacific Rim 2, Uprising 2.
Is that the title? Pacific Rim 2, Uprising 2?
Stars John Boyega, from fame of Star Wars.
As Big Shaq.
What?
You ever seen that video, Man's Not Hot?
No.
Oh man, you'll never watch Pacific Rim the same way again.
Okay, I'll look it up after. So we got John Boyega, who plays Idris Elba's son, Idris Elba's character from Pacific Rim 1. And he's like, no, I don't want to pilot a Jaeger. And then Scott Eastwood is like, nah, man, you gotta pilot the Jaeger. There's like some kaiju. And then John Boyega's like, oh man, okay, I guess I'll save the world. And we're gonna stop the apocalypse. And then they
Not really.
And then they punch some monsters in the face. And there's some sweet action.
There is some sweet action in this movie.
And then, yeah, the end. That's it.
All right. Well, like I already threw out there, I think one of my biggest complaints with this movie was the cast. They're all, well, most of them are really good actors.
Okay.
I love Charlie Day.
Oh yeah, he's my favorite.
I mean, John Boyega will always have a special place in my heart ever since he played Finn. But this movie felt like it revolved around Big Shaq from the YouTube videos.
Okay. Maybe we should refer to him as John Boyega. At least I imagine that's who you're talking about.
That is who I'm talking about.
Okay.
Scott Eastwood playing the same character he always plays.
See, this is the only thing I think I've seen Scott Eastwood in. I know he's done voice acting.
You've never
for
seen
some stuff.
Fast and Furious 8?
No.
You never saw... He was in Suicide Squad, I think?
Was he? Who'd he play in Suicide Squad?
Like a generic Marine.
Damn.
He always just plays a generic soldier.
Huh. Okay, so... And
the girl from Transformers 5.
Oh, yeah, you told me about that. I don't think I watched like 5 seconds of that movie.
She's a young, strong, independent kid who lives in a junkyard and is friends with the robots.
Okay.
It was literally the same character.
Except her robot doesn't talk back in this one, I guess.
Well,
Could say that.
Yeah, her robot's not a crappy scooter or whatever it was in Transformers 5.
So it was mainly the cast for you then? Like, what?
It wasn't even the cast as much as the characters. I wasn't invested in any of these characters.
What about, like, they bring back Mako, and you see that, John Boyega plays her brother? No? You weren't into that at all?
Nah.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I guess I wasn't, like, quite into the people quite as much. Like, I'm going there to watch robots punch the shit out of each other and punch the shit out of, like, monsters.
Too.
Yeah, because, I mean, Transformers is cool and all, but, like, I just don't care about those movies at all, and nobody ever does mecha movies like this. Nobody's ever done this before. Well, maybe not literally, but you know what I mean.
That's another thing, too, though, is I felt like the first one was very much a Guillermo Del Toro film.
Okay.
And this felt like Transformers mixed with Speed Racer.
That's an interesting
Like
combination.
the way like the lights were in the cockpit and everything, it
Uh-huh.
just reminded me of Speed Racer.
Well, it's upgraded.
Remember by the Wachowskis?
Yeah, yeah. No, I like that movie. I mean, it was kind of stupid, but it was like kind of cool at the same time.
Yeah, I mean like visually it was interesting,
It's great
but
visually.
it was just like such
amazing
a
visually.
weird. It was just such a weird mixture, you know.
Yeah, I mean, they mix a lot of like LEDs. They got like, I mean, what year is it supposed to be anyway? It's supposed to be like 15, 20 years in the future?
I think more than that.
Because,
This is, I think, 10 years after the first one.
yeah, but when did Pacific Rim 1 take place?
I couldn't tell you.
A little bit in the future. I don't think that far in the future.
I have no idea.
All right, anyway. But that would explain why, you know, the cockpits look more advanced, I guess.
Did you ever feel like this movie feels a little desperate to try and set up a franchise?
No, I thought Pacific Rim 1 already set up the franchise, I guess.
I just felt like this movie, there was a little bit too much, like, especially in the beginning, like, oh, that's the whatever Jaeger. Like, everyone knew their names, and, like, going into this, I didn't remember any of their names. Like, that movie wasn't that impactful, and I don't really care to learn their names, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you got the only one I can really remember is Gypsy Avenger, which is changed from Gypsy Danger in the first one.
Do you remember the names of any of the other robots from the first one?
No, I think the
That's
red.
my
I think the
point.
red one from the red one from China was like Crimson something. Remember, it had 3 arms and also 3 dudes piloted it. That was pretty cool.
I know what you're talking about.
Okay, but yeah, I get that. I mean, lore-wise, it's kind of supposed to be like, you know, like race cars or something like that.
No, I get the reason why they have names. I just felt like in this movie they do a lot to try and like forcing your like I feel like the main point of this movie is to really get people to like Pacific Rim
Yeah.
because the first one did okay.
Mhm.
But
Pretty good, didn't it?
I feel like this one was really trying hard to like get more movies going, you know?
Yeah. I mean, they tried to set some stuff up, and we can talk about that
We're
later.
not in spoilers yet, but
No.
like the very end,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Clear as Day sets up a third one, and I don't know that this movie was strong enough to have a third one.
I I think it did. I loved it. I thought it was pretty cool. Um, you know, it's just like I'm a huge fan of like mecha anime. I haven't really watched Gundam though, so I can't really say that. But like, I loved, for example, like Big O back in the day. For like Toonami fans out there, I played like MechWarrior 1, MechWarrior 2, which is like video games like that where you're piloting a giant robot. I just love that kind of stuff. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, like I think giant robots are interesting, and like once we get into spoilers, I'll tell you more about this stuff I like. Like conceptually, I liked this a lot. You know, I just feel like overall it just kind of fell a little flat for me, and overall it was just it was a fun movie, but
I get
it's
that.
nothing. It's nothing to rush out and see. That's my biggest thing.
I can see that. I mean, as somebody who like is super into this kind of stuff, like that's something I want to go see like real soon. But
here's my thing: is I've always loved giant monster movies,
okay, like Godzilla.
like Godzilla,
King
King
Kong,
Kong.
yeah.
Yeah, I wish there was more. Like I'm one of the 3 people in the world that loves Cloverfield. Like I just think giant monster movies are the best. So seeing a giant robot fight a giant monster, of course I want to see that.
Okay.
You know, no doubt. I love the idea behind this. But this wasn't like comparable to Logan where you're like, man, this was the best movie ever. Like, holy crap, everyone needs to go rush out and see it. You know?
I thought the fights were awesome. That's
The
something I want
fights-
everybody to see.
The fights were awesome, but it's pure. The fights were awesome. The concept is awesome. The characters are just kind of suck and boring.
They gloss over a lot of stuff, and that's probably why the
Yeah.
characters feel a little flat. They're talking about things that are kind of already
Not just
established.
flat, but
in the-
forced. I feel like the
No,
characters feel a little
I don't feel
forced.
that way. But like they gloss over so that you can get to more of like what's happening. They don't want to weigh you down with like the science that's like happening, science, and like the technology and stuff. Like, how is that thing walking around? You know, like whatever. Who cares about that stuff? Let's get to like people piloting these giant mechs and like beating the shit out of
I think
monsters.
it could have been shaved down a little bit though, and been a little more streamlined. I think the girl that's a ripoff from Transformers Five
Mhm.
could have done without her. I
Maybe
think, and I mean, minor spoiler, but the whole like romance triangle going on between like, you know,
that was like practically not even there.
did you? But they kept referencing it, and I was like so
That's kind of
confused.
funny.
It's
They're
like
throwing
there's
a
like
little,
not really anything going on though.
throwing a little cheap comedy. It's
And
like
that girl didn't even do anything throughout the movie.
no, of course not. But that's she's not important. What's important is like everything else. It's just like a
guess.
little. It gives you a little something to like divert your focus, I guess. Instead of being like, when's the next fight happening? What's going on here? What's going on there? You know.
Do you want to get into spoilers?
Yeah. I mean, let's just get down to the main parts of the movie, I guess.
All right. So I was a little disappointed that there weren't a lot of monsters actually.
Okay.
Monsters don't ever really come out of the breach until the very end of the movie.
Like maybe halfway through, they start to have a little Evangelion type thing going on.
The kaiju Jaeger hybrids.
Yeah. So you know what? Can we start from the beginning of the movie? We'll just kind of
Start
work.
from the beginning.
Okay, so we got John Boyega's character. He is, I know I explained this already, but he's Idris Elba's son from the first movie. And he's just like a guy who steals Jaeger parts or like whatever, trying to make a living, make money, and party all the time. Goes into a defunct or destroyed Jaeger to steal like an important power core or something from it. Gets running with the law, meets up with the girl because she steals the power core before him, and then he finds out she made a tiny Jaeger that she can pilot by herself. They get caught eventually after a little. It's awesome. There's this scene where the little Jaeger is running away from like a regular sized Jaeger, which is still incredibly massive compared to it. I thought that was a really cool scene. But they get caught, and then they have to join the military, and that kind of sets up why they're back, why they're piloting the big ones, and why they have to work with
Scott Eastwood.
what were they called? The Protector, the Guardian, or something? Whatever their group.
Pacific Rim Alliance or something.
Yeah,
like that.
whatever. And there's this Charlie Day is working with the Shao Industries to make Jaegers that don't need pilots.
Did you notice in the movie how prominent China was?
Yeah, but they're pretty prominent in the first movie too.
But I'm not saying that that's bad. I mean, I kind of liked it because this movie does really feel like it has a global feel to it.
Yeah, like the Russians in the first one. I thought that was cool. Like everybody's.
Well, there's a Russian girl in this one too.
Yeah, yeah. Not to say that there wasn't.
But Pacific Rim actually failed. The first one, it failed in America, but it was so big in China that that's the whole reason we got a sequel.
Oh, no way. Really?
Yeah. So I think that this movie, they saw that the Chinese audience really loves this series, so they tried to appeal to the Chinese audience a little more.
What's the woman's name? Is it Shao?
Shao,
She,
yeah.
she owns the industry.
Right.
Or the
She's
company.
the head of the company Charlie Day works
So
for.
she was in The Wall, the Great Wall, wasn't she?
Was she?
I
Was that
think
the same
so.
girl with the blue armor? The
Yeah,
lieutenant?
I mean, I might be mixing her up. I feel like that's the same actress. I could
not
be
sure.
mistaken. I should have looked that up. Sorry.
But we saw both those Comic Con panels.
Yeah, that's true. Was that the same Comic Con, or was it just we saw the same panel? No, that was the year
Those
after.
two different
That's
ones,
right.
yeah.
So there's these drones that don't need Jaeger pilots. They're just operating by themselves, and as they're about to show them off, there's a fight where a Jaeger pops out of the ocean. Nobody knows who's piloting it. It's a rogue Jaeger, and John Boyega and Scott Eastwood have to fight it.
Which was a cool fight scene.
That was pretty cool.
All the fight scenes were really cool. Like,
Yeah, I love that they did Jaeger versus Jaeger in this. That is so awesome.
yeah.
So where was I? I'm sorry. We're talking about the drones.
they're fighting the evil
Yeah, yeah.
Jaeger.
So unfortunately, Mako, she gets killed going down in her helicopter and couldn't be saved. And they try to chase down and find out where that rogue Jaeger came from, which is in Russia. They find it, they fight it, they rip its face off and tell the pilots to get out. And it turns out there's just a brain in there. It's no pilots. It's a kaiju brain. And that kind of leads into the dark secret that. Should we talk about Charlie?
Yeah, we're already in
Okay,
spoilers.
so
So
Charlie Day's character is working for the precursors, the guys that made the kaiju in the first movie.
because he's addicted to
Alice?
sinking his brain up with the kaiju brain.
Yeah, he's still.
He like goes home like an addict and just hooks it up.
I want to know what love
Yeah.
is.
Most rockin' music.
That was great. We should do that for most.
He's like,
rockin'
oh,
music.
just one, okay, and he like puts on the headgear.
I thought this. I just want to say, I thought this movie was really funny. They had some great moments like that. Charlie Day really did a great job with that, and John Boyega was great too. He's like, "Don't you talk about my ice cream toppings."
The thing I liked about it was they just really took advantage of unique ideas, kind of. You know what I mean? Because instantly, when you see the evil robot, you're just like, oh, okay, like the drones are obviously bad, so it's gonna be man versus like computer.
Mhm.
But the twist where the drones somehow contained the brains of kaiju and they affected the Jaegers, so we had these Jaeger kaiju hybrids.
Have you? Did
I
you
thought
get
that was way cool. I loved that.
so and they did you pick up on like kind of an Evangelion vibe?
I've never watched Evangelion,
Okay.
so I can't comment.
They kind of have I mean, they kind of have a similar thing going on in that where it's like they have the mecha that all the kids pilot or whatever, and then they're like, oh, this isn't effective enough. We need to like mass produce them, and then the mass produced ones are obviously evil, and then they have to fight like a million of them.
Okay.
So that kind of thing happens.
I just thought it was cool to see a monster robot like hybrid like that.
That was pretty sweet.
That was cool.
So they open the Charlie Day turns out to be evil and
Not just evil, possessed.
well possessed. Yeah, he's still a good guy.
Because he says at one point, he's like, I have no idea what I'm doing.
That's true. He does do that, I guess. So he's kind of not in control anymore.
No, he's lost it.
But he's kind of the puppeteer behind the mass-produced Jaegers, and they have to not only find him and stop him, but they have to stop the drones from opening up a new breach where the kaiju can come in from.
And that was a nice twist, too, because I think for most of the movie, you thought Shao was evil. But then
Yeah.
it's Charlie Day, and I liked how that, why Charlie Day was evil related all the way back to the first movie.
Mm.
So I thought that was a nice setup.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
The ending of the movie, though, the very end is John Boyega telling Charlie Day's character that the humans are gonna go into their world and fight them. And I honestly don't know we'll ever see that movie.
I would love to see that. That sounds awesome.
Sure, I mean, any of these movies that come out, I'll go see them, but
Think about it like this. You got Pacific Rim 3. Let's say like 10 years later. All the humans are united. They don't even have like regular society anymore.
okay.
Whole society is just working towards making as many Jaegers as possible. And then they go into the other dimension to beat the shit out
Oh
of the
my gosh,
precursors.
could you imagine the budget for that,
That
though?
would be so. No, I mean the budget wouldn't be any different. It would still be, CGI. Maybe hire some more actors and actresses. Spend a little bit more on the CGI.
Dude,
But
each of those Jaegers looked really good, first of all.
hell yeah,
And second of all, probably took a lot of time to design. If you had like 100 Jaegers you had to design on a computer, shit would take forever.
could have some that look the same too. I don't know. I'm just saying. I think it's a
I
badass
mean,
idea.
I would like to see that, but I don't know.
You could start out as the precursors. There's no humans in the intro, and then all of a sudden they have a breach, and it's just robots coming in and beating the shit out of
Pacific
their
Rim
world.
is really just like I don't know, the franchise that I enjoy and I'll go see it,
Uh-huh.
but I'm never like eagerly anticipating it.
Oh, I was excited for this one.
Really?
Yeah, you didn't get that from. Well, I was gonna say you didn't get that from uh the panel at Comic Con, but that was a
I'm
little
I
underwhelming.
am not a video game person, but I'm like just as excited for this movie as I am for Ready Player One.
Okay.
You know,
Hmm.
I don't know. I just don't think there's a whole lot of good movies out right now or coming out for a bit up until Infinity War.
Hmm.
Um, and I think that that's a big reason why Black Panther has been number one in the box office for like 6 weeks straight.
Well, February is the bad movie month, isn't it?
January is,
Oh, okay.
but that's what I'm saying is like Black Panther is good. Obviously, it can hold its own for a reason, but it hasn't really had any competition. Everything else that's come out hasn't really been that good, you know?
Mm, well, you have some like kids movies like Peter Rabbit and like A Wrinkle in Time, I guess. But yeah, to go up
Wrinkle
against
in Time got
specifically
bad reviews. Like,
to go up specifically against Black Panther, you don't have. I mean, what does it have to be? Like a all black cast and some kind of superhero movie, right? What else could you have?
I don't know. I
Because
mean,
Black Panther's different in that way.
there's other big blockbusters that, get to number one over the
Hmm.
weekend. You know what I mean?
Well, that's why it's good that Pacific Rim came out when it did, because there's not anything super huge right now to compete with it. Unless you do count
Was your
like.
theater, like, empty?
No, there's actually a good amount of people in there.
My theater had, like, 6 people in it. I was
Mm.
shocked.
I went to Magic Johnson, so I don't know if that made a
I was
difference.
Times Square.
Mm.
But, so, yeah.
I mean, regardless, I thought this movie is awesome.
Would you change anything about it?
Um, Maybe have more intense Jaeger fights, I guess. I feel like they were just not kicking the crap out of each other enough, you know?
I guess I want to see this franchise if they ever did make another one.
Uh-huh.
I want to see them do more Gundam-y shit.
That's why I like
I want to see like crazier weapons on the Jaegers and like wings and stuff. Like,
that's where I don't want it to go.
really?
I don't want to see like because this is the perfect matchup the perfect middle ground between Gundam and more Western mecha. Because stuff like Gundam and Japanese mecha, crazy humanoid giant robots that have perfectly was it not meticulous, but they have hands basically.
Okay.
They can pick up stuff. They have giant sized guns to go with their giant sized hands, which doesn't really make any sense. Then on the other side, you have more tanky Western mechs, which kind of have like chicken legs, or they have tank treads or stuff, and they look a little more realistic.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas on these, they do the Jaegers, they do have hands, but their weapons are
Do you
usually
want to see
built
one
in.
with wings?
No, I don't want to see one. I don't want to see a crazy lightsaber sword
That's exactly what I
or
want to see.
wings or like weird space battles. I don't want it to go like too far out there. I like the fact that they're still kind of slow because they're so big.
I don't mind them being slow necessarily.
Mm.
I want to see
Because that's
better
where Gundam
weapons.
goes. They have Dragon Ball Z fights in space. That's where that goes in the end.
No, it doesn't need to go that crazy, but
That that's yeah.
just a little more elaborate on the Jaegers. After a while, they kind of start to look the same with like minor differences.
Should watch Evangelion.
I might now.
It's pretty good. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of it, but it's pretty cool because they have like cities are built to fight off the giant monsters. They're me- uh, they're what are they called? Angels? I think angels are the monsters though. I can't remember. I haven't seen Evangelion for a while. But they're mechs. They build their cities around the battlefield, so the city is the battlefield. So like the buildings open up to have giant turrets inside. Or the mechs come up out of the building, which then opens up like a door.
That's cool.
It's pretty awesome stuff. It's also really bad, but it's also really good in some regard.
I'll check that out. Maybe that's a big maybe. Anything else you would change about it?
I mean,
I kind of wish there was a little more monsters too.
monsters. Yeah, I guess the Kai. Well, that's why I want it makes sense. Kaiju don't have the biggest part in the movie, but then we see this cool one that's like three kaiju put together. It's like a fucking
Mecha kaiju.
mecha. I wouldn't call it a mecha kaiju. It was weird how they got put together. That kind of was like, oh, there's a cloud of smoke, and then it's like all three of them are together now.
No, Charlie Day releases those like microbots or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, they pull them together. It's still a little. It's not like Power Rangers, where they like, oh, here's the arm, here's the
Whatever, dude.
leg.
It was
It works though.
the microbots fuse them together. So
As
just go with it.
as long as yeah, yeah. To sum up this movie, you just got to go with it,
Yeah.
and you'll have the best time. I mean, I had the best time. Just you got to go with it though.
All right. Would you recommend it?
Hell yeah, I would recommend it.
To who?
I mean, anybody that liked the first one, and anybody who wants to see giant robots.
Yeah, if you need something to see this weekend, I'd say go see it. But you're not missing out by missing it, I wouldn't say.
Like my wife saw the movie with me, and she didn't see the first one. She's not even a big movie fan, or like she doesn't know. She probably wouldn't even have been able to tell you what a mecha is, but she thought it was awesome.
That's good.
She liked the movie. She thought it was pretty cool.
See, so what do I know? All right, awards.
Why don't you start us off?
So I have Best Director.
Okay.
And the reason I have Best Director is because the fight scenes, the way they were filmed, certain angles we get to see, you really feel like you're in the middle of the battle.
Okay.
And even outside of the big fights, a lot of the director's choices I just thought were really good. Um, and Stephen DeKnight, I believe, is the director. He did the first season of Daredevil.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah.
I was looking at his Wikipedia. It said he was most known for Spartacus.
Yeah, he was a
Multiple
showrunner on
Spartacuses.
he was a showrunner on Spartacus, and then he went to Daredevil. He
Interesting.
had one season Daredevil, and this is his directorial debut. But I wouldn't mind seeing more movies from him. Especially if he has a history in comics. Let's see him have a full on movie,
Okay.
or go back to Daredevil. That'd be cool too. I also have most believable CGI because, like I said, I think the kaiju and the Jaegers looked really good.
hmm
And the last thing I have is our new Best Creature Award. And I have that for the Kaiju Jaeger hybrids.
Okay.
I thought those were pretty cool.
Wait, just the one or all of them?
Well, they all kind of looked the same.
No. Well, I'll disagree with you on that, but okay.
What? They all totally looked the same because they were all the same Jaeger.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. I was thinking of kaiju. Didn't you say kaiju?
The Kaiju Jaeger hybrid.
Oh right. I'm
Remember
sorry.
the drones
Yeah,
that
yeah,
come
yeah.
like half monster?
Right, right, right. Sorry, sorry. My bad.
That's my vote for Best Creature Award.
Okay.
A giant half monster, half robot thing.
That was pretty awesome. I loved
That's
that.
that's my nomination.
All right. Oh, that's it? I'm sorry.
Yeah, just those three.
All right, so I have best director as well, Stephen D. Knight.
I think it's Steven. Shut up, Alexa.
Actor in a leading role, John Boyega. I thought he was funny. I thought he just makes a good main character. I like him better in this than I do in Star Wars.
Really?
Yeah, I don't really find his character in Star Wars all that interesting. I feel like he's kind of boring.
Oh, all right. I like Finn, so
I mean, Finn's cool. It's just, I don't know. Like that whole arc in The Last Jedi where it's just him and Rose, like, what do they do? They go to a casino and
It
then
was
ride on some
fine.
weird
it was.
3D.
We're not getting back into that. It was
Okay,
fine.
let's not talk about the hour-long plot. That was such a waste in The Last Jedi. Actor in a supporting role, Scott Eastwood and Bern Gorman.
Okay.
He's the one that
The
plays
scientist.
Gottlieb, the one with the cane.
Is that the scientist's name? I never picked up on his name.
Yeah, it's Gottlieb.
Okay.
And Scott Eastwood for Nate. I thought it was cool. He had some great chemistry with John Boyega's character,
I'll give you Bern Gorman.
Bern Gorman. Which is kind of funny because also besides Game of Thrones, I don't think I've seen him in anything else. And he was like a real scary villain in that one.
He's in almost like every Guillermo Del Toro film.
Is he?
Almost every, yeah.
Was he in like What movies?
Shit, you want to
No,
look it
that's all
up?
right. No, that's okay. We don't have to talk about that. But he's cool. I think he plays a great he's a great actor, Bern Gorman. Actress in a supporting role, Kaylee Spaney, I think is how you pronounce that.
Okay.
Um, she wasn't like annoying. She was like actually she was a good female character. She was a strong, independent woman, but like kind of in the good way, you know.
You
Builds
don't
her
see
own
at
Jaeger.
all that that character was a total ripoff from Transformers 5?
If she is, it's better in this movie because I mean, Transformers is just a trash heap.
Yeah.
It's a it's a trash fire. But she builds her own Jaeger, one pilot. I thought that whole intro scene was awesome where they're running away. They're in the small Jaeger and they're being chased by this big ass Jaeger. I thought that was so awesome. I'll give this best sci-fi movie.
Okay.
Um, Camera work, but that kind of ties into the director because all the fights felt right. It didn't feel weird. I didn't feel like
It wasn't hard to follow, right? It's
it,
easy to follow.
yeah, I understood the space they're in. Like that's really important to me. Understanding the space that the characters are in, and where they are. Otherwise, it kind of feels enclosed.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Most believable CGI. Best villain because I like Charlie Day.
Okay.
I didn't exactly see that coming, but I kind of figured it out.
I almost said best villain just because I didn't see it coming, but I think we'll get some better villains throughout the year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's gonna win it in the
Dude,
end
we
of
have
the year, but
Thanos this year. That's hard to compete with.
Charlie Day versus Thanos. I don't know, man. Charlie Day's like he's pretty high up there
We'll see.
versus Homer Simpson. uh, best Easter egg, the Gundam statue in Japan.
Okay.
I love that. I was like, yeah.
That was a nice little nod.
Best fight scene, the 4-on-1
Against the Mega
the
Kaiju.
Mega Kaiju, yeah. Best creature, also again the Mega Kaiju. I thought that was pretty.
Really? More than the hybrid monsters?
You know, now that you said that though, I'm gonna have to say for both of them because that was really cool too. They like or whatever when
Like the robots literally just transform. It was like a Pokemon evolution or something.
yeah. Well, that's why I said Evangelion the most because they kind of like get that. They have that same kind of feel.
Okay.
So best creature, Mega Kaiju, and the
Hybrid.
Kaiju Jaeger hybrid. Big surprise. I guess Charlie is evil.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I didn't see that coming, so.
And most memorable moment is John Boyega when he catches, I'm sorry, I can't remember her character's name, but Kaylee Spaney's character.
When they're falling from space.
Yeah, and she's like,
Did you expect him not to, though? Like.
you know, I don't know sometimes in these movies in Pacific Rim. Sometimes characters just die, and like I wasn't expecting it fully.
All right. Fair enough.
Now I just remembered something though.
Huh.
When you said if there's something I could have changed,
Okay.
there's something I wanted to change.
What?
Charlie Hunnam's character, I wanted to see him again,
Okay.
and Ron Perlman, I wanted to see him
I
again
did
too.
want to see Ron Perlman's character.
I thought he was gonna come back. I
like
don't know.
selling all the clothes and shit.
Yeah, that was awesome. I loved him in the first movie. He was so cool. But whatever. Okay, that's just something I would have liked to see.
I agree.
And that's it for my awards. What
All
did you stars?
I gave it 3.
4.
4.
Yeah, I mean, that's just me though. That's
Okay.
because I like it a lot.
So at least between the two of us, that's an average of 3.5.
yeah, split the difference.
Not bad.
But not best picture.
Not best picture, but it was fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun. I would tell everybody to see it.
All right.
Go see it.
So, is that about it?
That about wraps it up. So you can, if you liked what you saw today, you can check us out on Uranus-awards.com. You can check us out on Patreon, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram.
Yep. And we'll be back next week with Ready Player One.
Oh yeah, we're gonna see that.
We are. We're seeing it
Excited.
tomorrow. We're
Ready
seeing it
Player One.
early. But we can't talk about it till next weekend, so tune in and join us.
All right. Anyway, have a good one, guys. This is the new Going In Deep, Going Dark.